Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I'm your co-meteorologist for the evening, Cloud Hudson, and I'll be bringing you today's top stories of all things vibrational, vibes, etc. It's all weather, in my opinion. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen so that we can get started here. Let's take a look at this one. All right. Okay. So I'm starting at the big scale today. I'm starting at the planetary weather level because big story tonight is we are moving into the full moon phase of the moon. It's applying to the full moon, but it's within 5-degree orb of being full. So it's pretty bright out there. It's looking pretty full out there. That came after yesterday. It opposed the Venus-Mars conjunction. And as the moon swept into from the sign of Leo into the sign of Virgo, it brought with it Mercury from the opposition Aquarius into the opposition with Pisces. So that's a fun little ride that the moon and Mercury took together. As the moon moved into Virgo, the Mercury moved into Pisces. We've got that going to make a conjunction soon here too. But really tonight's story is full moon season. This is our last nice little full moon until we get into eclipse season. So this is our last one to do any like non-eclipse things that you want to with a full moon. Like, I don't know, put out some water to make moon water, or charge your crystals, or clean your room. Full moon is a good time to use the light of night to find anything that's left in the dark. So anything that comes up in your dreams right now, make a note of that and think of how to clear that. We've also got Venus moving right along to that beautiful square energy with Jupiter and Taurus. So let's make sure that Taurus also is ruled by Venus. So I think that this is Jupiter getting a little talking to from Venus of like, make sure you're treating my home sign pretty well. Make sure you're doing good stuff. Jupiter and Taurus, not messing up the economy or the food systems. Let's do beautiful things like redistributing wealth and making people have glow ups and such. Now, that also is going to be helped by the Jupiter's already being under the watchful eye of Saturn and Pisces. So there's a heaviness to it as well. Like Saturn and Pisces, I just get so much anchor imagery in my mind for that. And this is definitely anchoring Jupiter to a more etheric, like watery occupation of the Venus ruled sign of Taurus. And of course, speaking of Venus, it is a Venus day and we're in a Venus hour. So, I like to broadcast when our day and hour have the same planetary alignment. It just feels like it flows a lot better for me. Let's look at our solar weather, zooming down from planetary just into the interplanetary. We've had a quieter day of solar flares today, but we still had 2 M-class flares. You see these three, really 3, kind of working their way up from upper C to just breaking C 9.95. Then we got into an M 1.25 and an M 2.65. So you're seeing the periodicity go up and then down and down and then up and down and down. And remember that we're looking at interacting waves that cancel each other out and boost each other up. So let's see. We haven't seen too many potential full halo coronal mass ejections, so I'm going to skip that aspect. That's just our solar flares for today. This is going to be our model for any coronal mass ejections. Actually, the other day after the 3M class or X class flares, we did have several good coronal mass ejections. So we've got a model saying that we might get a little bit of a glancing blow from that, looking like the 24th into the 25th. And so that lines up with the full moon. So I want to take a look at some imagery so that we can get actually, I'm going to show y'all something that I don't usually uh, show. I usually show the Solar Dynamics Observatory, but I haven't shown the LASCO imagery. And I want to show you this because this is a cool one where you can actually see the stars. This is just getting the corona. This is a coronagraph. It's not showing the surface of the sun, just showing what this looks like when we have mass ejections over the past 48 hours. We've had several, but they flare out in different angles and different shapes. And this is just a good way to see. Also, the background radiation level, you can see any noise in there is radiation or photons messing with the light sensor there. And this dark range is like the arm of the occluder. The occluder is what covers up the sun's surface so that we can get a better like white balancing an image. It's always so hard to white balance my webcam because I don't have some sort of occluder to block the sun out. And this dark region is just the arm where the occluder reaches onto the surface of the sun. I believe this bright spot right here is Mercury, but I don't recall. But it is, as you can see, it kind of like makes its way into the sun, into the sun's beams. And Mercury is booking it on its way to Sun Cazimi. So those are the mass ejections we're looking at getting little clips of. But really right now, what we're looking at with the sun is solar wind, because we've got a southern hemisphere of the sun coronal hole in the Earth facing position today. And that's this coronal hole right here, the one that looks like a little pair of lips right now. And remember yesterday we looked at the magnetic images. There is a magnetic connection between this coronal hole and this sunspot group. And this is the sunspot group that was super active when it was on the limb. Let me also take you to a GOES product that I want to show. The thematic map. I'm looking at GOES 18 because I think it has better resolution. The thematic map of the sun shows the different types of regions of activity on the sun all at once. So the dark blue is quiet sun. The bright region will be where we saw those sunspot groups. The filamentous regions are building up between this very active sunspot and this coronal hole. So I wonder if we will get a filament launch from these areas while this is Earth direct. You never know. These filaments are facing Earth pretty steadily right now. So if anything destabilizes, really we would need more ropes twisting between these two regions to get it loosened up, or weak to blasts in order to get that launched out there. But right now you can see pretty, not quiet, but a nice clear active region and inactive region that matter of fact, let me take you to the SDO just so we can see the imagery of the sun. That's the magnetogram. 3590 still looking like a really fun, complex sunspot group. It went to a beta gamma classification and went back to a beta gamma delta. So that's still a big warning sign for weird geometry giving rise to potential complexities. Let's look at this 48 hour. You can see those last X flares as we start the 48 hour because it was within the last 48 hours. Let's take a look at the size and shape of this growing as well as it rotates into view. And you can see some of the arcing from here to here. Now I want to take a look at what the magnetic field lines are doing across that area where there's those establishing filaments. Yeah, okay, so this is why I was talking about the filament region. It looks like there's a good possibility for these to become more twisted up and possibly have a filament eruption, but that's just my speculation right now. And it also looks like we've got 4 nice active regions rotating into Earth view, or rotating onto the sun-facing disk as soon as this becomes Earth-directed. So cool stuff. We're not out of, by no means was it a quiet day, even though we didn't have too many coronal mass ejections today. It's still been pretty active on the sun. Let's take a look at the higher frequency or the higher wavelength composite. See it snap, crackle, and pop as it rotates into Earth view. And you see this little S shape. This little S shape is what I'm thinking might have some power to launch those filaments. But you never know. Still seeing a large dimming region up here. So this is the southern hemisphere hole that was facing Earth, but this is the region that looks to be dimming as well. So really interesting. We'll have to see if that increases the solar wind speed anytime soon. Yeah. So we haven't seen any ejected material coming out of those X-class flares, which is interesting. Now let's go to look at our terrestrial weather. I want to take a look at pivotal Earth. Okay. Take a look at our temperature analysis for today. Okay, and we had beautiful conditions throughout most of the U.S. As I always remind you, I'm not a forecaster. I'm just telling you about the weather that really did happen, so I'm always right about this. The little bit of polar air is staying nicely contained in Canada, but that's not going to be the case for very long. Both the polar jet and the subtropical jet are both about to line up in phase for creating some really severe weather next week. But I'm not forecasting. I'm just, my forecast is that forecasters will get really excited about next week's weather because there's already a day 5 risk of, there's a day 5 slight risk, which means if there's 5 days out and the Storm Prediction Center is already issuing a risk, they are pretty sure that next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, is going to have some strong storms. 24-hour precipitation, we got lots of good rain throughout this, from the Rust Belt to the Deep South, but didn't quite make it over the Appalachian Mountains. So everybody else felt a bit of a rain shadow effect, but not too much going on there. Let's take a look at our global weather. And again, it's the full moon, so you never know what's going to actually happen. All right, so you see that rain system moving its way through here, not really wanting to get over the Appalachian Mountains. Seeing some snow in Chicago. and rain throughout much of Illinois. And we've got a nice snow cover most places, but not looking. Fortunately, finally had a dry-ish day in California for once. They're not used to that anymore. Let's take a look at rest of the planet. The shaded and not shaded area are where we have radar holes. So just because there's nothing there doesn't mean there's nothing there. Let's look at temperature so we get a better idea of. Well, no, I want to look at. I actually think I want to look at winds. Yeah, there we go. Because this will show us the nice different types of curvature in the wind and how we can have counterclockwise and clockwise rotations having different setups here. This one looks like it's gaining strength a little bit, but it'll probably just be another swirl into the Pacific Northwest. Let's check out our currently more active subtropical and tropical latitudes over here in east of Madagascar. We still got tropical depression Eleanor and tropical low Lincoln still lingering around Australia. But not looking too bad otherwise throughout much of the southern hemisphere. Still got a lot of convection going on in the Southern Ocean, but that's good. We want that to happen. And you can kind of see, does this do sea surface? No, it doesn't do sea surface temperatures. Never mind. Well, we can kind of see the effects of dancing wind streams. You can see the doldrums where there's very little wind because we're convergent near the equator and doesn't want to push you side to side quite as much. But overall, pretty calm winds on land today. Out in the sea, looking pretty rough. Well, actually, this is a high. This is a clockwise, so it's not really that bad. Looking like we do have a lot of polar wind coming through to Iceland, though, so they're probably getting walloped. Let's take a look at the radar. I believe Norway and Finland are still getting their decent amount of snow. Yeah. Look at these guys holding it down. Speaking of Iceland, let's go ahead and take a look at, let's see if they've got any updates for us today. Not really. Let's see if. All right, this is okay. There is a update. Approximately 5 million cubic meters of magma have recharged the Svartsengi reservoir as of yesterday. So the likelihood of an eruption is very high once the volume reaches 8 to 13 million cubic meters. So we're not quite there yet, but we are getting there. And remember, last time we were thinking maybe it would be end of February, early March, and we're not quite. We're end of February-ish, but we're at the beginning of the end of February. So early, based on model calculations, this could occur early next week if magma accumulation continues at the rate. There is a degree of uncertainty. It cannot be assumed that behavior will be identical. Also, as the magma plumbing system evolves, we cannot rule out the possibility that the volume of magma required to trigger a new diking event and or eruption may become reduced. So, changing plumbing, diking events, looks like this is a pretty pro-trans forecast. No, I'm just kidding. Wouldn't it be great if people could accept changing plumbing in humans as easily as they accept it in Earths? Oh, they don't accept Earth's changing plumbing very well? Well, that makes sense then. Um, here's the inflationary maps. This is a fun one. Inflation 29 to 220 is 4. So that's where we're looking at here. The steepest inflation was the one we saw right after we started looking at this. First was 0, then came 1. That was a pretty fast inflation event. Then we had 2 between the December eruption and the January eruption. Inflation 3 was between the January eruption and the February eruption. And then we're on inflation event 4 here. So this is a really cool graph. I like this a lot. That shows us that, we are slowly kind of working our way down in the rates of inflation, but looking like, I don't know, maybe we'll have an even smaller eruption and it'll last for even less time because it didn't need to inflate quite as much to break up. Who knows? That'll be cool. It'll probably propagate from beneath Schwarzschild to the Snooker crater row, resulting in a lava flow where we've seen most of it before between Storeskogefell and Hagefell, those 2 mountains in that area. Likely scenarios as occurred on that. This is really good information. I like this kind of breakdown. This is giving different types of approximate warning times based on the type of eruption. So they're saying if it's this kind, that's what it'll happen. So it looks like the worst case would be eruption inside of the lava barriers around Grindavik, but magma reservoir is currently failing on its northeastern edge feeding dike propagation, which are initiated between Storeskogefell and Snooker crater row. In an event where magma ascends towards the surface directly from the Schwarzschild reservoir, it is estimated that the first signs of magma migration would be detected 4 to 7 hours before magma reaches the surface. So, this is our current hazard map. Remember that they have included a new zone 7, in this one. We're still waiting for the balloon to reinflate. It looks like it's on its way to reinflating and erupting again. So hopefully it happens up here where we had our February and December eruptions, but there's still a potential that it'll be down here where we had the January 15th eruption. So it all depends on depends on a lot of stuff. It just goes to show you stuff. Let's take a look at our earthquake activity for today. I want to see. I've been liking looking at it from Volcano Discovery. Even though. All right, we got a little bit higher number of high end quakes today. 8 quakes above magnitude 5, 42 between 4 and 5, and then several in the low ends. And here's our map. It looks like here in, Sumatra, we're seeing a lot of those higher quakes. We saw, up here in the Andreanoff Islands and in Chase, Alaska. And over here in Fiji, once again, Tonga, excuse me. Over here in Tonga and North Island of New Zealand, we're getting the above 5 magnitudes. So, and remember that we had this one. Oh, this is from today. So this is the second in 24 hours that we've had a over 5.1 on the southern East Pacific rise. And that looks to be, I believe that's the antipode of Afghanistan. And it looks like we've had a considerable amount of quakes there again today. Pretty fun. Pretty fun. Normal ranges, but here's a good map of the areas where we saw those elevated quakes. Let's go ahead and look at our volcanic activity while I'm on this website. Maybe we'll go look at the earthquake map too, but I want to go to volcanic activity. Volcanoes today. Let's get our little news update, and y'all can find targeted ads if anyone wants to get me new glasses. I would like these rainbow glasses. No, I think it's cool to have rainbow glasses. All right, today technically February 24th already, because I always that's in UTC time. Still looking at most of our same players. Let's take a look at if we've got any big updates. Gamalama and Halmahera, we have a volcanic ash reported. Let's see. Yeah, you can kind of see that coming out of the like radar imagery. You can just barely see a little bit of off-gassing. So that's fun. Suwanos Jima, it's very cloudy there, but like you can, I don't know if I can even see the volcanic ash from the rest of it. Let's see. Samira, we can definitely see the volcano injecting the upper atmosphere with some cloud condensation nuclei, given that all those nice cumulus clouds something to grab onto. And here's another great image of Popo having a continual eruption, just really doing well. Let's see. East Java, Sumatra, we're still seeing a lot of both volcanic and earthquake activity there. Sporadic ash emissions. Yeah, no observed. All right. So we're looking pretty similar. We're holding steady. Everything that was erupting is erupting again still, and everything that continues to erupt. So we'll keep you posted on it if there's anything fun that arises out of this. So I have a little time. I'm going to go ahead and just look at the interactive earthquake browser. Let's just see what happened in the past 24 hours. Oh, I don't want earliest. I want today. From today to today. Magnitude, all depth range, all data source mixed. Perfect. And we're on satellite. Awesome. Okay. So this is the breakdown of the, again, a very shallow. Remember how yesterday this was they've got it as a 6.3 on this website. It's a really shallow 6.3. So if anybody was chilling out there, they felt that. That is also where we've got like 3 different plates diverging. So that's a really interesting geometry of where that showed up. And then right along the next edge that this comes to, we're seeing still in Argentina, Peru, Bolivia border region, and northern Chile, series of 4.4s. Shallow 4.9 in central Peru, again at 10 kilometers depth. On the other side of the earth from this southern East Pacific rise, we had more shallow earthquakes in Afghanistan and in the Kyrgyzstan Xinjiang border. We've also got, it says Adriatic Sea, but I'd call that like Greece or Albania. I can't tell. Are we technically? Well, no, that's like off the coast. It's in the, right in the heart of the Adriatic. And then also one in the middle of Greece, 4.2. These are all at 10 kilometers depth, once again. Also another one on the Iran-Iraq border. And continued shallow earthquake rippling through the United States. Not quite as many in the western states as there were yesterday. There were quite a few, but we're getting higher and higher magnitudes of quakes in this New Mexico, Texas Panhandle border region. Here's the larger quake that was reported in central Alaska and in the Andreanof Islands in the Aleutian Island chain. A larger, a 5.3 semi-deep quake off the southern coast of Japan, and then a shallow 4.4 in the Ryukyu Islands. Then this is the Halmahera, Indonesia area where we saw that new increase. This is the area of the world where we saw a new volcano pop onto our screen today of increased volcanic ash emissions. Oh, and one here on the Southwest Indian Ridge too. So overall, looking like we're gearing up. We have momentum in all these little breaking points. We just got to wait and see where the next cookie crumbles, the Earth being the cookie. Okay, so it was a pretty short update today. Not that nothing's happening, but not as much as the last time I had to update you. So let's go ahead and get a cosmic weather reading. Let's call in what's happening from the liminal space. What does the liminal space have to tell us? The liminal space of the cosmos. All right. Drum roll, please. Another drum roll, please. All right. I got this card the other day. I swear, on this stream, I keep pulling repeated cards, but I think it's because I'm just introducing y'all to these cards. You wished for this. Everything that's happening right now, you wanted this in some way. Maybe you feared it a lot, but you wished for this. So be grateful. Let me do a different one too. Oh, here's a cute one. This is the card that's on the cover. Or it's on one of the covers. No, it's not. This is the Welcome to the Liminal Space card. I'm going to read the description for that one. Introduce y'all to the concept of this deck through this card. There we go. All right. Welcome to the liminal space. The waiting room of the universe feels something like this, where you are not quite lost or found, here or there, alive or dead. For those in need of deep transformation, this is the only way, as no one leaves quite the same as how they came in. Your number will be called soon. So welcome to the waiting room. This isn't a prison planet. This is a waiting room planet. A waiting room where you need to remember what questions to ask the doctor. A waiting room where you make friends and where you get what you wish for. You do get what you want. You just got to make sure that you know what you want and you're asking the universe for it in the right way, because Sometimes we ask for what we absolutely do not want because we can't think of what we do want. Imagine if you were like ordering at a restaurant and you just told the waiter, I want anything except for the burger. He's not going to remember anything you said except for burger. So he's going to bring you like a veggie burger or something. Like, you got to ask for what you do want as opposed to what you don't, asking for what you don't want. You got to ask for what you do want. I do want this, this, and this. I don't want to focus even on what I don't want because I'm not trying to manifest it. And your attention is intention. Okay. See, as soon as, like, these cards are great for white balance. It's a great image if I leave these up, but like the moment I take these off the screen, just washes everything out. This is why I need a better tech setup. Reminder, if you want to help me get a better tech setup, maybe get a new computer or upgrade some of my software so I don't have to go to websites with ads, you can find links to support this channel in the description of this channel. Now I'm going to get a tarot card to summarize. What did we wish for the liminal space? What are we doing here in the liminal space? What's this for? Here we go. My raw labradorite, my law labradorite. It's a fun one. I really like this piece. I got this piece from somebody at a show one time because I guessed what it was, and they were like just by them pulling out, I was like, oh, this nice labradorite, and they were like, oh, do you want it? You can have it. So sweet. Sometimes being a nerd helps. Be a nerd about whatever you're interested in. Truly, truly. Don't like try to be a nerd into things that are nerdy. Be a nerd about whatever you love. If you love coloring hair, learn about it so much. If you love gardening, learn about it until you're bored or fed. Like, if you love, I don't know, I'm sure even if you love sports, there's some reason for somebody to love sports a whole lot. Like, again, put your attention on things you do want to happen and not things you don't want to happen. Okay. Let's see. Summary card for both of these. Okay. Okay. We got the Five of Swords reversed. So, in the Five of Swords upright, we see this sad little scene of two guys walking away from, it looks like there was a sword fight and we all got sad about it. And one dude just there cleaning up the mess. But in the reverse, our foundation is on the current changing winds. So our changing climate is our foundation. We're looking at, it's not even time to fight anymore. Time for fighting with our thoughts is over. We just got to know that that was what we fought for. And what are we going to do next? Now we got all these swords to deal with. The Six of Swords, the next one in the progression, is taking all these fucking swords I got after everybody left their swords here at the sword fight and moving on to new lands. So, Five of Swords reversed. I feel like we're looking for trying to make this really screams like, wait, why did I wish for this to me? This is also a very liminal space of the moment after the duel. So I'm actually going to pull up my Biddy Tarot interpretations again, because I just feel like that her description of reversals has resonated with me more than any other descriptions of reversals, because they're not negative. I mean, not that they're not negative, but they're not as blamey, I'll say. And the Suit of Swords, I personally don't pull a lot, so I haven't gotten to know this. I actually don't think I've personally pulled the Five of Swords at all, ever. it's just not an energy. There are other swords that I do pull, like the Knight of Swords, pulling that all the time. You can tell that about me because I'm always talking out of my ass. But get it? Air signs talking out of your ass. Let's see. 5 of Swords reversed. Oh, I also get the 4 of Swords a whole lot because it's like you need to go take a nap. Okay. So 5 of Swords reversed, we got reconciliation, making amends, and past resentment. See what they mean by that. Yeah. I feel like this is the result of what we thought about yesterday with our 2 of Swords upright. We pushed through this argument and maybe it happened, and maybe we're just still sad that there was that argument. Maybe there's some residual conflict in your life. Maybe you are becoming aware of old wounds that you thought were healed, and maybe it's still got a scar that you keep forgetting that it was there. This reversal paired with you wished for this and liminal space gives me like the lesson after this big fight was that sometimes you do actually wish for the exact fights you get into. It's just really annoying to remember that you chose to be there. It's really annoying when people hear that you signed up for the life you manifested in and they're like, oh, I would never have signed up for this misery. Like, well, if you wanted to be on planet Earth, you had to sign up for some sort of weird, tragic tale. So you signed up for the one you wanted. This is not to be victim blamey. This is to be, how can we feel the peace in the ebbing of a fight? How can we feel the peace in the calm after a storm? You wished for this. You wished for this liminal space to dwell in and create new things out of. But let's examine what's coming up. I know for me, I had some wild dreams last night. Not wild as in the way that used to be, because my dreams used to be unpleasantly wild. And now I still guess they're still unpleasant, but they're pretty cool too. The annoying thing is I can't smoke certain medicinals or else my dreams go away. So I can't use that path to calming my central nervous system right now. So I have to be kind of disciplined in the daytime if I intend to listen to my dreams at night, which is just like a big grow up, kid kind of lesson. But I swear, listening to your dreams will reveal where all of those, like, oh, my ego's been wounded and I've been acting out of a wounded ego place. Where did that come from? Your dreams are going to tell you. Like, for me, there's a lot of middle school, I guess, like, just not trying to overshare. It's just like, oh, it's interesting that all of this comes up in the dreams when I specifically dwell on trying to figure out why I'm still making like negative narcissist decisions or acting out of like an egoic need to feel needed rather than to actually be myself, which is needed. So yeah, I highly recommend y'all do everything you can to calm your nervous system in ways that still allow you to dream at night. Because your nervous system is, we're getting an emotional and mental upgrade right now from the sun, from the universe by way of the planets and the sun. That's teaching us a lot about how the mind, the gut brain axis works, how the vagus nerve works, and how your conscious thoughts are related to your subconscious like homeostasis, your body self-regulation system. and we're gonna have to face why we do things out of certain emotions right now. So whatever's coming up for you as something that you need to pay attention to, or if you've sat and meditated on, why did I make this decision that I didn't like myself making? We're just trying to become more aware of the way that our logical thoughts and our emotional feelings interact, and how eventually we're going to understand our emotions as great information, as great data for how to move forward. But until we realize that emotions are like just as important to our sense bodies as our sight, smell, touch, taste, hearing, we gotta integrate that sense into, like, the sense of emotions into part of the way we perceive the world factually. Not saying that the logic that's triggered off of the emotion is correct. That's very different. You can always trust your emotions. You can't always trust the thought that you assign to the emotion. We're working on refining the connection between thought and emotion right now. So anything that gets you emotionally reactive is just, we're trying to learn the lessons of how to integrate this information properly. So I think that is where I'm going to leave y'all tonight. I love you all so much. Take care of yourselves and each other's. Take care of your bodies. Drink lots of water. That's a card in the liminal space deck, is just drink water. That's a fun one. Remember that you will manifest everything you intend to, if you really intend to. So be careful what you wish for, because you will get it. Monkey's paw and all that, but also it doesn't have to be scary. It can be pretty cool sometimes when you can manifest. So, okay, I'm going to stop saying the word manifest. What if I say we'll manifest? Okay, I love you guys. I'm going, bye for now. Have a great evening. I love you so much. Goodbye. Bye.